Hi, I want to talk about a learning approach that's at the intersection of engagement, application, and relevance. It's called action first learning. And it's a method I've been studying, reading about, and applying in organizations from educational institutions to small businesses to Fortune 500 for the past few decades. And now you might be saying, Karl, that's all well and good, but shouldn't all learning start with action? Isn't that what happens? Well, unfortunately, that's not what happens. We like to front load instruction with lots of content, theory, ideas, and concepts, and then we hope later on someone will be able to apply that information on the job. So we need to flip that. Action first learning flips that script and says, wait a minute, let's start with the action that the learner has to do first. So let's look into this. Let's take a moment to look at how most instructional design has historically worked. Step one, we give learners a mountain of content, definitions, models, frameworks, all this information from subject matter experts. Then we assess recall through a quiz, which is assessing their knowledge, but not actually their ability to perform on the job or where they're going to need that information. And finally, someday we hope they might apply it on the job if they can remember what we covered at all. We've all been there. We've sat through the courses, passed the quiz, and still are not prepared when it's time to act, when it's time to perform, because knowing about something is not the same as knowing how to do it. That's where action first learning steps in. So let's get to the actual definition of what is action first learning. Action first learning is a philosophical approach. So it's an overall approach to instruction. So it's not step by step, but more of a philosophy about designing meaningful instruction that highlights the need for learning experiences to require learners to take immediate or initial actions, believing that this is the best and most effective way for learners to retain and then apply information on the job and in any situation where they need to. So action first learning has a framework in which we can operate as designers of instruction. So the very first element of the framework is a trigger action. Something happens. The learner who immediately comes into a learning situation has to do something. We're not going to give them learning objectives. We're going to force them to do something right away. Maybe it's play a game, make a decision, answer a question, solve a problem, cut out paper, draw, whatever it needs to be. We want the learner to do something right away. And then they apply that particular knowledge. So we know adult learners have knowledge when they come to a learning situation. Let's leverage that. Let's see if they know that. Also, we know that adult learners learn best when they know they don't know something. So if they apply their knowledge and they don't know it, then certain things are going to happen. Maybe they get feedback. Hey, what you thought you knew wasn't correct. Maybe you need to learn something about what the proper method or what you need to do in a certain situation. They get instructions. They socially interact with others if it's in a classroom or a virtual classroom setting, and it has an emotional impact. I'm kind of upset that I didn't know this, or kind of surprised. So it triggers the need or the want or the desire in the adult learner to learn. And then finally, they reflect on the experience. There's no learning in my book without reflection. It's only an experience if you don't reflect. And that's the framework of action first learning. Trigger action, apply knowledge, reflect on the experience. So why do action first learning? Well, one, failure is feedback. If you know that you're not getting it, you struggle and you don't know what you're doing, that's feedback that lets you know, hey, I need to learn something. That makes us more open to learning. Second, it involves the learner right away. So instead of passively sitting there and just thinking about what they're going to learn, and as the instructor goes through the objectives or as there's clicking next to continue and all that kind of stuff. No, they have to do something right away. It sets the tone for the rest of the learning, which is a very important element. And third, it provides purpose, progress, and achievement. It lets you know where you are, where you're going, and whether or not you've reached the learning goal that you're trying to achieve. Now, let's look at some action first learning in action. One type of action-first learning is an escape room. So let me set this up for a little bit. This is called Escape the Professor's Office. And the idea behind this escape room is that you're trapped in the professor's office with no way out. So you have to click on the objects around the room to find the clues. So you have to take action right away to figure out what is going on. Now, this is made in Articulate Storyline, and one of the really nice things about this particular element is it has this journal. So sometimes you run into an escape room where, hey, I found the exit clue, I know the answer, I'm going to escape right away. But in this particular case, you've got to fill out the journal before you can escape. So here's the journal. We have the team process on one side, we have attributes of a team on another side, and we have this clue here called watch out for mice. What could that possibly mean? Well, let's look around for some clues and figure out. So let's check out the mouse right away. There it is. It said, always remember capital letters are key. I guess that means we've got to use capital letters. Seems like a step forward. Back to the room, and what do? Well, I could click on maybe the chair, and the chair says, have a seat in my chair, but don't get too comfortable, okay? Why don't we click on, and we can see that we have a glow around it. That's helpful. Let's click on the camera and see what it says. You found a digital camera. Only one image on the camera. Must be a clue. This looks like, so what's happening in that image? What do you think? I think it's storming. So we'll go ahead and type storming. Whoops, remember all capital letters. And we've entered the word storming. We click next. And we see, storming is the second stage of establishing a team. Okay, that's good. Now I can look somewhere else. But I can also check my journal and see, now storming is written in my journal. Okay, that's great. So I'm finding more clues. So let's click on the cute little teddy bear. And it's a riddle. So it says, solve the simple riddle. Name one or a two-word phrase that is an attribute needed by a successful team, and another phrase for shared and scoring. So maybe that's common, and scoring a point in soccer is a goal. Learned that from Ted Lasso. We'll click next, and yes, I'm correct. Teams need a common goal. Okay, that's fantastic. Then we click on next again here, and we found out that that's right. We should use that to escape from the professor's room. We click the journal, and we'll be able to see it again. There it is, now common goal. So escape rooms are a great way to provide action-first learning, especially at a distance. But you could even do a physical escape room if you are able to bring people together in a physical place. But if you can't, digital escape rooms work well also as a way of action-first learning. As you can see with the escape room, the learner had to take action right away, thus action-first learning. Let's look at another example where a learner can choose from one of three levels of action that they could take. Now, this is a piece of equipment called the ATC 600A, which is a portable transponder used for aircraft testing and distance measuring equipment. And the idea behind this particular simulation is that the learner can take action right away. They can go to the test element of this. And that's what often happens. But sometimes a learner who goes to the test part doesn't quite know, where does this go and what do I do? And so they get all confused. So basically we put in three levels so the learner can choose which level they want to enter or even go back and get remediation. So if I go to the test level and I don't know what I'm doing, maybe I hit demonstration, and without touching the screen at all or the mouse, it shows me what I need to do. It drags that over. I hit next and it's going to hit power for me. And then finally, I hit next again and it's going to show me where I should turn the dial. So this is great if I don't know what I'm doing. If I kind of remember what I'm doing, I can hit practice and I can get a hint if I want, or I can just drag this over because I remember that's where that goes. But I don't remember what I do next. I hit power and now it gives me, this is what I need to do. I hit power and it allows me to do that. And I can even get a hint for the last one and okay, there it is. And then I can go to test. And test, no help, nothing. I just have to know how to do everything. And if I do it incorrectly, okay, there I am. It will actually tell me, that's not really, oh, well, it's not doing anything. Okay, now I do that. But you know what? I did it. I did the right thing, so I'm in good shape. So there you have it, 2 examples of action first learning. Now you might be thinking to yourself, how can I get started with action first learning? Well, there's actually 9 types of action first learning that I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to give you a couple steps that you can do to start your own design of action first learning. Here are the 9 types of action first learning. You can use card games, board games, escape rooms, as we've seen, comics, branching scenarios, kind of the ATC 600 branched into practice, into demonstration, into test. We have live interactive experiences where you can get people involved, augmented reality, virtual reality, sometimes called the metaverse, and AI assisted coaching. All of those are ways that you can enact action first learning. And also, how can you do it? Well, first, action first learning, you need to define the learning objective. What do you want the learner actually to do? And you identify the action that the learner does. You determine the right action first learning approach, those 9 that I mentioned before, right? Could be one of these approaches. It could be another approach. That depends on what the learning needs are. Then you implement your action first learning approach. You fill in with any kind of instruction that you need to. So if people realize they don't know it, you can help them. And then you create guided reflection for the action. You help people guide and think about what they just learned. And those are the steps of action first learning. So I hope you go and create some awesome action first learning yourself. And if you like those concepts and want to explore them even more, pick up my book, Action First Learning. I think you'll really enjoy it. It'll help you make better, effective, more impactful instruction. And that's what we all want. So good luck and have a lot of fun. And remember, play, learn, and have fun.